The fact that it stops even temporarily and aid goes in is good. The fact that hostages who had been taken 2 years ago are released, that's a good thing. The fact that many Palestinian prisoners who had been, many of whom have really not been charged, are released, that's a good thing. The fact that we have a process in place, a conversation perhaps to get beyond this point is a good thing. My worry, though, is that this looks like it's not much more than a hostage release and prisoner release and a temporary ceasefire that's uncertain, and maybe a lot of praying for something more that's dependent centrally on President Trump.
But the momentous breakthrough that we're here to celebrate tonight is more than the end of the war in Gaza. It's with God's help, it'll be the new beginning for an entire beautiful Middle East.
This time it's tied to something more than just a ceasefire, because there is at least a plan that the President of the United States has put forth, and there are other interlocutors internationally, including Arab and Muslim countries that have been playing the role of mediator behind it, but it hasn't been accepted by the Israelis and Palestinians. And for that reason, I think what we see is the prospect of another explosion once the dust settles. There is a huge risk of return of violence on a large scale unless the United States in particular shows more will to move forward than has been exhibited over the past 2 years. Just the fact that they can sleep without bombings is in itself extraordinary, even though most of their homes are destroyed and some are sleeping on the streets without shelter. That in and of itself is good. The fact that you have aid going in, aid has been prevented. Many Gazans have been hungry, and some have been starving, and some, in fact, have starved to death. The very fact that you have facilitation of aid going in, international aid going in, is a good thing. What hasn't changed is obviously the military control of the Strip is still by Israel in 58% of the Strip. And inside, while Hamas has agreed to the ceasefire, Hamas certainly is still the most important force inside the Palestinian areas. That has not changed. So clearly, there's a lot of uncertainty about what the next day is going to bring. I do not believe that he's given up on the idea that Israel would control at least part of Gaza, and many in his government have not given up on the idea that they would like the Palestinians removed from Gaza, or many of the Palestinians removed from Gaza, and what people call ethnic cleansing. And so that hasn't shifted, I think. There's no indication it has shifted. And so the next question will be whether there will be a second phase, or whether this phase one of the agreement is really the last phase. And very quickly, we will see whether there will be some incidents that results in Israeli resumption of attacks inside Gaza. Israel is extremely dependent on the United States, and the U.S. does have the capacity, if it chooses, to compel Israel to end the war in Gaza, for sure. That also means, though, that Israel has a huge stake in the nature of the relationship with the United States, especially in the changing public opinion. The very public opinion I discussed earlier that is souring, that's angry with Israel in America, is seen as a threat to the Israeli-US relationship, and therefore a threat to Israeli policy in the Middle East. And so we're likely to see a lot more focus by Israel on the American front of public opinion war that has taken place as as this develops, and particularly if violence restarts again. The bottom line is this really a peace deal, or is this only a hostage release deal plus a temporary ceasefire? It's still unclear, but I'm fearful that it's more the latter than the former.